Hello, everyone. Welcome to VC Lab's closing ceremony for Cohort 18 and Top Performer Spotlight. We are so happy to have you here. Thank you so much for coming out and taking the time to join us on truly a very special moment for not only the VC Lab team, but a lot of people who were in Cohort 18. My name is Mirto Lalakos. I'm a principal here at VC Lab, and I'm joined by Mike Supervici, head of acceleration. The entire VC Lab team has been guiding, a global group of new managers to launch their firms in the past kind of 14 weeks, and we're here today to celebrate the ones who succeeded. I also got word that we're going to have Adeo Resi. He's the CEO of Desal Group and kind of the person at the origin of all of this alongside Mike. So he might pop in today, but we can go ahead and get started. For those of you who may be coming to one of our events for the very first time today, I just want to say a few words about what VC Lab is, right? This is the world's leading closing program for new and emerging managers. We've worked with managers in pretty much every single country with an existing venture ecosystem or one that's kind of up and coming, right? We've helped to launch some of the greatest new funds in the past 18 cohorts that we've run. And you're going to meet some of these funds today. This program guides managers from all over the world through everything that they need to do to launch a fund, from when it's all just an idea and a kind of desire to a first close. And for those of you who are not from the space, a first close is when, the fund becomes operational and starts deploying capital. All the managers are kind of thrown into this global community of new and emerging VCs. It's probably the world's largest kind of community for emerging managers, right? And in the background, VC Lab and the team keeps kind of building a lot of these tools. The latest ones have been AI enabled, of course, right? And we're always working to make the process as easy and seamless as possible for new managers to kind of launch a fund. Okay. And we're streamlining things and we're automating kind of a lot of the processes that are required. And launching a VC fund can be one of the most difficult types of ventures that you can launch. But as much as we can try and make it easy, it's still very, very difficult, right? And so throughout the program, we monitor how all the managers are doing. And we're actually very harsh in terms of kind of our assessment, which makes VC Lab one of the toughest programs to succeed. Okay, and when I say that, I want to show you the numbers. Okay, so in cohort 18 alone, we had over 2,600 applications, and only 317 exactly were enrolled and kind of accepted to take part in the program. Here today are less than 3% of those people kind of that came in at the start. And this just kind of goes to show how the firms that are here today really achieved something remarkable in a very short space of time. And even more remarkable is that these guys achieved everything they achieved while being bound to the principles of the Mensarius Oath. And this is kind of something that I keep wanting to talk about. Okay, so every single person that was in this cohort has pledged to the principles of the Mensarius Oath, which is an ethical code of conduct for venture capitalists, which was created to kind of encourage more responsible and ethical behavior within the finance industry. Okay, and practically speaking, other than kind of the usual kind of ethics areas that you may think about, the funds that came out of VC Lab are also built to be institutional grade, meaning they're structured in a very compliant way and they hold the same standards that top kind of limited partners would like to see in these funds. Okay, so they were mentored by people like Angela Hawk, who may be in the audience today. She was the ex-treasurer at Sequoia Capital, and she's kind of working with these funds to ensure their operations and governance meets kind of these highest professional thresholds and benchmarks that you'd expect to see at Sequoia level funds. Okay, and we're talking about these very new kind of day one level funds. So um, okay, this is truly remarkable. And I wanted to take a moment to kind of talk about how, right, this group of people and these kind of cohorts keep reminding us that, you can scale ethically and sustainably while keeping kind of and making sure that you're doing things in the right way. So, without further ado, I want to kind of move on to this next section of this event because we're going to be spotlighting.
And before you do, can I say a couple words quickly, Murto? Thanks for that great intro. Is now a good time? Quick.
Yeah, over
Hey,
to you, Adin.
everybody. Hey, Manisha. Great profile. Hey, Lev. Hey, Moy. I really loved profiling you guys. Actually, we haven't profiled you yet, Lev. You're next. But yeah, and your profiles are going kind of viral. That's because you're awesome, right? So one of the things that was just discussed was what a funnel there was. And if you look at just the number of people who wanted to join the cohort and the number of people who made it to the end, as Mirto said, it was just like 2.5 to 3%. And there's a lot of reasons for that. It's really too hard still in the world to start a venture capital firm and fund, but you also have to be an exceptional individual that really wants to make a difference in the world to even bother to try and launch a firm and fund in the first place. So everyone who just finished cohort 18 has the stamina, has the experience, has the dedication and passion to really make the world a better place. And I want to just give a moment here to appreciate all the hard work that they've put in and all the amazing things that they're going to do. So congratulations, everyone. Congratulations to three here on screen, Moy, Monisha, Lev, and congratulations everyone else in cohort 18. And for everyone else here, we need more people like this in the world today. Okay. I know AI has all the hype right now, and it's the hottest thing in the world. Everyone is like AI, 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 and there's a lot of AI things that are going to make positive impacts on the world. But there's a lot of other really important things, whether it be climate or healthcare, that need funding as well. And we need passionate managers that have a vision for the future that's better than the past, funding these entrepreneurs that are working to make the world a better place. It's not something that we want, it's something that we need. And I know right now we're in the beginnings of a bubble. We've had lots of discussions of where we are in the bubble cycle. For the most part, people feel it's in the early to middle zone. Though if you read the media, you might get another impression. And so there's a lot of enthusiasm in the world about what's happening. But that's glossing over the fact that we have a lot of problems that we need to fix today. And it's not governments that are going to fix these problems. It's not companies, big companies that are going to fix the problems. It's not non-governmental organizations like the UN that are going to fix these problems. How do I know? Because these problems haven't been fixed. But you know who is going to fix the problem? It's going to be entrepreneurs funded by managers like the ones we're showcasing today. That's the way out of the situation that we're in. That's the path to a brighter future. And so I'm really, really excited for you guys to tell a little bit about your journeys here today. And I'm really excited for everyone here to be inspired by their journeys to think maybe I should do this too. Maybe if you're passionate about, well, let's start at the beginning. If you see a problem, fix it. Okay? If whatever it is, if you're passionate about that problem, start a company. And if you care about the problem set, start a fund to back different companies working on the problem. We need everybody to take action now. And I know it's kind of like, oh, things are going great. What do you mean, Adele? Stock market's up, AI's killing it. There are great things happening in the world today. It is definitely a interesting time to be alive, but we can't gloss over the many things that also need to be fixed. So I'll turn it back to you, Murto, to meet these amazing managers, hear their stories, and hopefully everyone will be as inspired as I am by their journeys.
Thank you so much, Adeo, and great to see you here. So, everyone, we are obviously going to be showcasing just a handful of all of these managers that made it to the end. However, if you are from cohort 18 and you're not speaking today, I do want to take a moment and ask you to introduce yourselves in the chat if you're comfortable with that, and share your LinkedIn if you're open to kind of people in the audience, reaching out and connecting with you. But back to the awards. All right. So, as we said, we're inviting some of the top performers of this cohort to share with you their stories and hopefully inspire some of you here to kind of make the leap into VC and follow in their footsteps. So, the first award goes out to none other than Moy Aris from Lucinda Capital. Moy, you have such an incredible kind of background, great work attitude and ethics. And like Adeo kind of profiled you in his LinkedIn, you went from couch surfing to top emerging kind of investor, which is so incredible to kind of to kind of see your progression, right? And it was a pleasure being part of your journey where we saw you go from strength to strength. So we'll be cheering you on. But Moy, if you wouldn't mind taking the floor and just kind of sharing a few words with everyone today.
Awesome. Thanks so much, team. Hi, everyone. Good morning again. My name is Moy Aris, and I lead Lucinda Capital. I'm a 10-year consumer product goods operator. I've had the opportunity to lead brand and innovation at amazing CPG companies like Chobani Greek Yogurt, Nestle, Aloha, as well as Applegate Farms. A few years ago, I had a bit of a career crisis. I was working on presentation version 7 for yet another executive team within a large multinational company who didn't totally believe in the innovation project that I'd worked on for a number of years. I was unsure about what to do next in my career as I'd been building to this level for the better part of a decade. I wanted to get back to the source, why I started in the consumer goods industry in the first place. On a whim, I volunteered essentially to be an advisor and a mentor at various accelerator and incubator groups focused on the consumer goods industry. I help these early stage founders go from 0 to 1. I help them commercialize their products, work out their P&Ls, build out their packaging. I found them co-manufacturing and retail partners, and eventually I help them raise their first venture capital dollars. To help them go from making a product in their kitchen to ending up on shelf at Target or Whole Foods. This was an extremely personally and professionally rewarding experience, and I found myself wanting to continue to chase that feeling. So I threw myself into all things venture capital. I had hundreds of coffee chats with everyone who agreed to meet with me here in New York City. I read every book I could get my hands on. I studied the industry for years until I finally felt ready to put my own capital on the line. So I started angel investing into the absolute best brands and founders I'd met. I was swimming in great deal flow from these accelerator and incubator groups, as well as some founders who were recommending me to their colleagues. The angel investing journey was all about testing my thesis, what types of companies I wanted to back, what characteristics the founders had. I tracked everything. I took notes on every meeting. I provided deals to other VCs and I heard their feedback. I wrote full extensive deal memos for my angel portfolio that nobody read, but I just wanted to get the reps in myself, see if I enjoyed the process of being an investor. What I found was I started to fall in love with that process. I realized that being in venture is part of being in a helping business. Your reputation is built off the number of people that you help, and the quality of the help you provide. As I started to focus on the small things, the big things took care of themselves. What I mean by that is if I focused on genuinely helping others, helping founders, making them connections, putting them in the right rooms, being available when they needed something, focusing on those small things, then the big thing, achieving a markup, that started to happen as well. So I'm very proud to say that my angel portfolio of 13 amazing consumer brands with amazing breakout companies like Olipop and Leisure Hydration achieved a 2x markup in under a year and was exactly the push I needed to start Lucinda Capital. I just want to thank the entire VC Lab team, meeting folks like Murto, Adeo, Mike, also in the background, Connor, Yohan, Neil. You've all been instrumental in this process. I couldn't have done anything like this without your support and sometimes tough love along the journey. My specific working group, Monisha, you're here today, and hopefully Michael, Jorge, Somesh, and some others are around as well. Thank you for the week-to-week support, your amazing confidants and friends. And of course, everyone else in the fellow VC Lab Cohort 18. I can't wait to see all the amazing things you do in the future. Thanks so much for the opportunity.
Amazing. Dude, I'm so proud of you, Moy. Thank you so much for the kind words and everything. I also wanted to just tell everybody that, we track a lot of things, and the number one predictor of success is velocity. When we look at these sort of velocity metrics, and Moy had probably the highest velocity we have seen in a very long time. And I remember when I talked to you more first, I'm like, you just got to make this happen. And then you were like, I'm not sure. Are you sure? Are you sure? And I was like, yes. And the reason I saw that is because of your ability to execute up until that point. I was able to see that in the data. I was able to see it in everything that you were doing. And also, just for everybody here, Moy just went all in, right? Just went all in on this and just said, I'm going to just burn the boats, and just made it happen. And you can kind of see the success as a result of that. He's one that has probably the fastest velocity we have seen in any sort of VC Lab cohort to date. He's fully operational and making investments and doing really cool things. And, it's just it just shows just the elite execution that you've been able to put together. And I'm just honored to work with you. Really proud of what you've done so far, and congratulations on all your success. Good job, man.
Thanks so much. I appreciate that, Mike.
Congratulations, Moy. That was amazing. I'm seeing comments in the chat saying incredible story. Well done. So I'm going to move on to the second award for today, and that goes out to none other but Monisha Prakash and Jonathan Beekman from Mojo Ventures. Monisha, John, you guys have trailblazed through this accelerator. You have such impressive kind of backgrounds, and you've worked so hard, and I'm so incredibly happy to see you reaping the rewards of that. So, it's with great pleasure that I want to welcome Monisha, who is here with us today, to share a few words with everyone here. Congratulations, Monisha.
Thank you so much, Myrto. And hi, everyone. I'm Monisha Prakash, a serial entrepreneur. Once you've built a few startups, your brain gets permanently rewired. You start seeing opportunities everywhere. And as my husband has sadly accepted, it's a condition with no cure, only new outlets. For me, that outlet became teaching. I've spent the past few years at Stanford working with founders in our entrepreneurship programs, watching them go from a napkin sketch to launch to sometimes game-changing exits. It's been an incredible front row seat to human grit and imagination. And somewhere along the way, I noticed something. The founders who captured my heart and often outperformed everyone's expectations weren't always the ones with the flashiest slides or biggest networks. They were the underdogs, the ones with deep purpose, sharp minds, and quiet resilience. I realized I had this unique vantage point, a pipeline of extraordinary founders who were just getting started, many still in the messy, beautiful pre-seed stage where everything is possible and nothing is certain. And I thought, What if I could help them at the moment that it matters most? That question led me to VC Lab. When I tell people I teach entrepreneurship, they assume I'm done building. But joining the program reminded me we're never done building. We just start building in new ways. Over the past 14 weeks, VC Lab gave me what I needed to take that next leap: structure, guidance, and an incredible community of peers and mentors who combine tough love with practical wisdom, and a deep belief that capital and character can coexist. I've met fund managers who are redefining what venture looks like. People from all backgrounds, all corners of the world, pushing the boundaries of what this industry can become. That's the kind of network I want to build with. Out of this experience emerged Mojo Ventures, which I co-founded with my longtime friend and fellow entrepreneur, John Beekman. We both believe deeply in using venture as a force for good, to shape which founders and which ideas get the chance to define the future. John and I have both lived the roller coaster of building venture-backed startups, the 2 a.m. pivots, the near-death moments, and the rare days where everything actually clicks. That experience taught us that behind every great pitch deck is a person, and it's their grit and heart that ultimately moves the needle. Now, we get to pay it forward by working with early founders at the starting line. Our goal is simple: help extraordinary people build enduring companies, and in doing so, use venture to create wealth and spread opportunity to those who traditionally have been left out, whether that's the entrepreneurs themselves or the communities they serve. VC Lab helped me sharpen that purpose and back it up with the systems, discipline, and confidence to make it real. I'm deeply grateful to Mike, Adeo, Mirto, and the entire VC Lab team for their wisdom and support, and to my cohort peers for the camaraderie and encouragement you've shown throughout the program. Thank you, and congratulations to my fellow cohort members. Here's to the next chapter of what we're all building together.
And we're deeply grateful to work with you as well, Manisha and John and everybody. We have a gentleman, his name is Marco. He runs Desal Capital. He's been investing in emerging managers like this for roughly 20 to 30 years. And one of the things he told me a few weeks ago is that, good managers are pretty good at like making investments. Great managers are really good at fundraising and making investments. And then there's like these unicorn managers, and then the unicorn managers are good at making investments, they're good at fundraising, and they get really deep into like the operations. And not because they like the operations or whatever, it's because they want to know how everything works really well. And those are the unicorns. Manisha and John remind me of those unicorns. Ever since we started working together, I was like, wow, they're showing all of these characteristics of like unicorns. And we have a lot of funds that we power that have some of these, and they're all doing extremely well. And so I think to me personally, I feel like you all both are on this amazing track to be able to be like those unicorn managers that are going to define the future of venture. And I'm really honored to work with you, and congrats on all your success. And I can't wait to see what's next.
Mike, thank you for that vote of confidence, and thank you for giving us the confidence to get there.
No problem.
Thank you so much, Manisha. That was wonderful. Moving on now to the third award of today. And this is kind of last but not least in terms of the award winners who are speaking here today. And I do want to say that if these awards were themed, you'd have a little subtitle here that would say plus the community award. So it's overall award plus a community award, because this one goes out to none other but Lev Lukton and Oleg Lukton from Gray Hair Venture Partners. Guys, you are always front and center with the community. You're connecting people, generating all of these very interesting discussions all throughout the program. And you kind of became the go-to people for a lot of people in this cohort, right? And of course, alongside all of that, you've been absolutely crushing it the past 14 weeks. So we couldn't be happier for where you guys are today. So congratulations. And I'm pleased to welcome Lev, who's here with us to share a few words. Over to you, Lev.
Thank you, Mirto. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. My name is Lev Lufton, and I'm the general partner of Grey Hair Venture Partners. And as Mirto just told us, my co-founder, who also happens to be my brother, is Oleg Lufton. Now, I suspect my background is a little unusual for someone in the VC world because I'm a lawyer, a conservative, nasty lawyer, someone who has spent 2 decades practicing law at some of the greatest law firms in the world, most recently as a corporate and M&A partner at a Magic Circle firm. Now, lawyers have a special relationship with technology. Most of us regard it as a nuisance, to put it politely, and the least tactful of us might describe it as odious. Now, I've always been in a slightly different camp. My practice focused on tech M&A, so I grudgingly, reluctantly admitted that tech did have its uses. If nothing else, it improved the world vicariously through me by generating fees and enabling me to build a successful practice. But things change, and my soul on the road to Damascus moment came early in 2023 when I tried ChatGPT for the first time. In an instant, I knew that this technology would change the legal profession beyond recognition, and that I wanted to be a part of that transformation, helping to bring our industry out of the Stone Age and into modernity. Of course, lawyers are trained not to trust anything or anyone. I did what any good lawyer would do. I embarked on the most exhaustive and extensive due diligence imaginable. I studied everything I could about legal AI. I spoke with founders, I spoke with thought leaders, law firm partners, anyone who would agree to speak to me. Issue spotting is second nature for lawyers, so I spent months looking for red flags. But the more I learned, the more I realized that the opportunity was mind-boggling and far outweighed the risks. The lawyers I spoke with, even the most skeptical ones, could sense that this technology was different, its impact would be profound, and after decades of resistance, the legal profession was finally at the tipping point of embracing it. I did something quite uncharacteristic for a lawyer. I resigned from the partnership. I spent the next year building a community of founders and investors, and I started making angel investments in the space. I couldn't believe the quality and caliber of the companies I was seeing, nor the speed with which they were developing. Some were barely months out of stealth and already in serious discussions with major incumbents. The right companies in this space are being backed by the likes of OpenAI, Tier 1 VCs, the Bessemers, the Sequoias of this world, and their growth trajectories are stunning. Take Harvey, for instance. It went from a valuation of about 25 million to $8 billion in just 3 years. Harvey might be an outlier. It sells its products to the largest law firms on the planet, but legal tech unicorns have been emerging in the most unexpected corners of the legal market. Even Up and Eve, both in the personal injury space, and for the lawyers in this audience, you know what this means, they're unicorns. Neither one existed 4 years ago. Yesterday, GCAI announced they raised a round B based on the valuation of $555 million, literally on the same day that they celebrated the second anniversary of their existence. At the same time, my conversations with law firm partners made it abundantly clear that there is a growing anxiety in the legal profession about the rise of legal tech and an equally strong desire to participate in that transformation. As a result, we've built an unrivaled advisory network that allows us to evaluate opportunities with a level of insight that even much larger investors might not have. Seeing all of this, I knew it was time to take things further, and that's what brought me to VC Lab. I have to say, this was my first experience of anything like this. Tough love was mentioned, plenty of it. It was a challenging experience. The ranks seemed to dwindle every other week. Survival in this ecosystem is very interesting, but the insights from Adeo, from Mike, from Merto, and the entire VC Lab team were absolutely priceless. And the opportunity to learn from our partners in crime, the members of Cohort 18, was just tremendous. Thank you. Thank you so very much, VC Lab team. It was a great experience. And armed with all this knowledge, we are looking forward to ushering in the golden age of legal tech. Thank you.
And thank you, Lev, and also thank you as well, Oleg. You know, I think we were having this conversation maybe a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago, and I think I said something like this: was like, the timing is about as good as it possibly can be for something like this. If you would have tried to do this, I don't know, even a year ago, I'm not even sure if this was viable, right? So sometimes with these things, timing is everything. You know, you wouldn't even have been thinkable that you can even do this type of a approach 4 or 5 years ago, right? It would just not have been viable. And you guys are kind of hitting this at the right spot at the right time. For everybody that doesn't know Lev and Oleg, I've had a chance to work with them quite a lot recently, and ultra methodical, ultra professional. Just they care a lot about the details, and I wanted to personally thank both of you for making us better. You know, we take a lot of this legal and operations part very, very seriously, obviously, because we power hundreds of firms and we care a lot about improving this for everybody else. And I can honestly say you guys have made us better too. So I want to say thank you for that and doing so as well. I also just think that you guys have all the ingredients to build an enduring venture capital firm. And for those of you in the audience that are new to this, VC Lab is not trying to launch these like one-off funds. We're trying to launch institutions, timeless institutions that are going to be around for very long periods of time, that are going to be stewards of entrepreneurship for generations to come. And Lev and Oleg have these ingredients in spades. You know, just the professionalism, the way they're going about building their business, the way they're thinking about every little thing, the way that the way they're working with their investors, the way they're looking at companies. It's just so professional. You can tell that these guys are in it for like the long run, and that they're going to be amazing stewards for founders to come, for generations to come in the future. And it's just been an absolute pleasure and honor to work with both of you guys, and just want to iterate thank you for making us better as well.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you for the kind words.
Thank you so much, Lev. That was wonderful, and we can't wait to see what you guys get up to. Now, on to a final award for today. And this is a surprise. We haven't told anyone that these guys are getting an award, but it's kind of a team that we couldn't have this closing ceremony without kind of giving you guys a big shout out. So this final award goes out to Jorge Vargas, Michael Jacobo from Venture.do. Congratulations, Jorge, Michael. You guys were amazing to work with. You kept making such incredible progress throughout the entire kind of program. And, you know, you really listened to all of the advice and just went out to make things happen. So congratulations on behalf of the entire team on everything that you've accomplished. And, you know, keep amazing us and keep kind of going from strength to strength as you have done.
And we could always count on both of you guys to have some questions on every single webinar. So thank you, because when questions got a little bit like, oh, I don't know if there's any questions here, Jorge's probably going to ask something. So it's all good. You know, it's all good. It's going to be fine, Mirto. Don't worry. So anyway, thank you guys for being such big parts of the community, and also just asking really good questions that forced everybody else to think about this stuff. Also for everybody here, that they're in LATAM, right? And so the conditions that they're kind of operating under are very different and very applicable to a lot of other people that are raising money in emerging markets and doing things in emerging markets. And so I thought that that was very, very healthy for the entire cohort to have you guys constantly ask a lot of good questions. And so, yeah, we couldn't help ourselves. We felt that it was critical to give you guys a reward as well. So good job.
Well done, Jorge. Well done, Michael. And now I want us to zoom out a little bit. That's my zoom out noise right there, because I want to show you a little bit about the rest of the cohort, right? So you saw 3 amazing kind of managers, but this cohort was full of amazing people, okay? We had 55 firms that made it to the finish line, which is today. 60% of those were solo GPs, so they're on this adventure all on their own, and they're making it work, right? And 33% of all the firms that made it to the end have at least one woman GP, if not the only kind of full woman kind of GPs leading the firms. And this is way higher than the sector average, right? And so we couldn't be prouder for these metrics. Here you can see kind of the geographical split of the program. Of course, heavy kind of bias in the US, but this kind of gives you a bit of a sense in terms of the geographical distribution for where funds are popping up right now, right? And you can see that there's a good 35, 36% that's outside of the US, Canada only being a small slither of that. LATAM is popping right now. There's so much happening in Europe. Africa, of course, we keep having a very strong kind of foothold from African managers and GPs. Also, African firms tend to be more diverse too, so it's always my favorite region. And Asia, right? So there's so much happening kind of in the world in venture right now. And in terms of sectors, this is how kind of the types of sectors that these managers are building funds around, right? So we have a good kind of amount still building generalist funds, but this will be in regions outside the US and in more kind of emerging markets. Of course, AI is taking the lead, followed by deep tech, followed by healthcare. And we were very positively surprised to see how many funds are kind of being set up to advance the future of healthcare. So if we look at kind of the performance of this cohort, here we're looking at basically the number of people who saw what these managers were building and committed to backing the firms, okay? And that's 254 people in the past 14 weeks. And that kind of is an average of 5 backers, if you want, per fund. So that's it, everyone. I do kind of before, actually, I'm going to pass
Just
it over.
one thing, if you don't mind me saying here, everyone, just zooming out to just the impact here, because at the end of the day, venture has the potential to be the single greatest force for good in the world. You know, most of the companies that are going to solve the biggest problems that we have are going to be venture backed. So let's just like look at this for a little bit, right? So there's 55 firms in cohort 18. Each of them are going to back a minimum of 10 companies. Most are going to do 25. Some are even going to do as many as 40. Okay. And that's if they just do a fund, one fund. But everyone here is building an enduring venture capital firm. So they're going to have series of funds. So they're going to have multiple funds. So now you sort of scale that impact across the board. Cohort 18 by itself is going to have a massive impact, right, on the future of innovation. When you just think about it that way, that's going to be hundreds and hundreds of companies that are going to get a shot at solving these really important companies. And everybody here, in case you haven't seen, is very early. They're generally like the first check or the second check. They're very early. They're the ones that are giving a lot of these entrepreneurs the means to be able to do what they do, and are often the first believers, right? And so this is incredibly impactful. What this entire cohort is going to do, and it's just amazing to see that. So sometimes it really helps to just, at least for me, to like think about that, because this is exactly what the world needs at this point in time. So congrats everybody. I know that it would not we weren't able to feature everybody, but everybody's a winner for getting to this point in cohort 18. We're incredibly proud of you. Obviously, we were pretty hard during the program, but it seems like that's paid off. And now, just take it to the next level. Okay, build this enduring venture capital firm that you can be proud of, and we're going to be here to help you at every single step of the way. So let's get this done, everybody.
Thank you so much, Mike. Congratulations, everyone. Once again, you were all so incredibly amazing to work with, and we can't wait to see what the future holds for you. And of course, you're still, you're in the community. We're in it for the long run together, right? So for everyone, just before we kind of wrap things up, okay, if you're in the audience today and you were kind of inspired and related to what was kind of shared by these managers, we do have applications open for cohort 20. The theme is AI agents, because we're kind of seeing the rise of the AI VCs, right? And these AI powered funds from end to end. So, please apply. We're going to put a link in the chat if you guys want to have a look. And we also have applications open for Venture Institute, which is a program that kind of prepares you for your future in venture capital, whether you want to start working in a fund or are thinking of launching your fund, but kind of like you're not ready if it's quite the right time, or maybe you want to do that sometime in the future, join Venture Institute. So that's it, everyone. Thank you all so much for being here. Cohort 18, keep crushing it. We can't wait. I'm so excited about what the future holds for you. Speakers, Moy, Manisha, Lev, thank you all so much for being here today. Have a wonderful rest of the day wherever you are in the world.
Congratulations, everybody. Super proud of you. Bye.
Bye, everyone.